All right, so you ready for this? Get ready to dive deep into a story
Yeah,
that's pure rock and roll legend with a touch of the supernatural.
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect.
Hit me.
We're talking about the Siege Cats, that multiverse hopping band
Right.
led by the enigmatic Supreme
Yeah.
Overlords.
Yeah.
And the source material you sent over tells a particularly wild story about them.
Oh yeah, this one's really fascinating because it really kind of dives into, I think, choices that artists face, especially when, fame and legacy are on the line. It's almost a classic kind of Faustian bargain, but with a distinctly rock and roll sci-fi twist to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So to set the scene for you, the Siege Cats are on tour,
Mm.
cruising between gigs in their trusty RV, HAL at the wheel.
Right.
HAL is their super advanced AI, by the way.
Yes.
But late one night, while on a desolate stretch of highway, Supreme Overlord feels this inexplicable pull, like some unseen force is calling to him. Even HAL can't explain it, so he kind of goes against his better judgment and steps out into the night. Have you ever felt that kind of pull? Like you just had to do something even if it didn't make sense?
Oh, yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? This idea of intuition or even, destiny guiding our actions in a way. And in Supreme Overlord's case, this detour takes him down a deserted, dusty road, bathes in this eerie glow of a blood-red moon. And he arrives at a crossroads, and it's not your typical crossroads.
It's definitely not your typical Crossroads. It's here that the story takes a turn for the seriously supernatural. Waiting for him is a figure who seems to be the devil himself, but with a rock star twist. No horns, no pitchfork.
Yeah, instead, picture a figure who just exudes this rock star charisma, tailored suit, rings glinting on his fingers, guitar slung over his back. He introduces himself as Max, and he clearly understands the music scene.
Oh yeah. And Max has been watching the Siege Cats. He sees their talent, their raw energy, but he tells Supreme Overlords that they're missing something. They lack that spark of true darkness, that edge that separates legends from mere mortals. It's kind of like he's saying, you guys are good, but you could be so much bigger. Have you ever felt like that about something you're passionate about? Like you're just on the verge of breaking through, but you need that extra something?
I think that's a feeling a lot of us can relate to, that desire to reach our full potential. And Max offers Supreme Overlords the power to do just that. He promises to make the Siege Cats legendary across the multiverse, their music echoing through every corner of existence. But of course, this kind of power comes at a price.
A steep one. For every fan, the Siege Cats gain Supreme Overlords must surrender a piece of his soul. It's that classic Faustian bargain, the kind of deal that's both alluring and terrifying. Because, let's be honest, who hasn't thought about what they'd be willing to sacrifice for their dreams? It's a question as old as time.
It's a question that forces us to really confront our values, doesn't it? What are we willing to compromise? What lines are we unwilling to cross?
And these are the questions swirling in Supreme Overlord's mind as Max paints a picture of their potential future. He gives him a taste of what this power feels like, filling his mind with visions of roaring crowds, blinding stage lights, and a legacy that spans galaxies.
It's a glimpse into a future where the Siege Cats reign supreme. But Supreme Overlord hesitates. He's not just thinking about himself. He's responsible for his bandmates, too. And let's not forget, their whole mission is to fight against the WAD. Now, for those unfamiliar with the Siege Cats world, the WAD is this oppressive force that's kind of like a cosmic dictatorship,
Yeah, they're basically space rebels fighting for freedom through music. So this deal could give them the power to really take the fight to the WAD, but at what cost?
Exactly. It's a complex dilemma. And to help Supreme Overlord decide, Max offers him a trial run, one show, amplified by Max's power, just to see what they're capable of.
Okay, so picture this. The Siege Cats at their absolute peak. Performing on a stage bathed in otherworldly light. Supreme Overlord's vocals are electrifying, his voice resonating with raw power. And his bandmates, Crispy, Blade, Delpa, Jazz, and Danimal, are all feeding off this amplified energy.
Crispy and Blade's guitars are on fire, just shredding through the music with supernatural intensity. Delpa's bass just pulsates with primal rhythm. Jazz's keys, they unlock hidden dimensions in the audience's minds. And Danimal's drumming, it's like the heartbeat of the cosmos driving the performance forward.
Wow, talk about an epic show. But as you can imagine, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Supreme Overlord starts noticing some unsettling side effects in the audience. Some fans seem entranced, almost hypnotized by the music. Others collapse, overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of it all. What would you think if you were in that audience, witnessing this incredible performance, but seeing those reactions around you?
I think it would definitely raise some red flags. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah, and that's what Supreme Overlords begins to realize. This amplified performance fueled by Max's power is consuming a part of his fans' spirits. They're turning into devoted followers, but at the cost of their own free will. It's as if this borrowed darkness is seeping into them, creating this bond with the band, but at the cost of their individuality.
So the show's over, and Supreme Overlord has seen the true cost of Max's power. Now he has a choice to make. What will it be? We'll find out after a quick break. Just kidding. We're diving right in.
Okay.
Right into this story. This choice, this weight, power and fame on one side, his own integrity and the well-being of his fans on the other. So Supreme Overlord heads back to that eerie crossroads to confront Max. Talk about a tense reunion.
Yeah, you can almost feel that thick atmosphere at that crossroads. Max, in his typical nonchalant way, reminds Supreme Overlords that greatness always comes at a price. He basically says, look, you want to be legends, this is how it's done, you have to make sacrifices.
And he's not entirely wrong, is he? History is full of stories of artists and leaders who made deals for fame and fortune, often with consequences they didn't foresee. But the question is Supreme Overlords willing to go down that path? Remember, this isn't just about him. It's about his bandmates, their fans, and their mission to fight against the Wad.
That's where Supreme Overlord's leadership is truly tested. Imagine the pressure of that decision. On one hand, he could embrace the pact with Max, gain immense power, and maybe even take down the Wadi. But the cost? A piece of his soul and the freedom of his fans.
It's like he's being asked to compromise everything they stand for, everything they've been fighting for, and he has to weigh that against the potential good they could do with that power. It's a decision with no easy answers, the kind that could haunt you forever. What do you think? Would you have taken the deal?
It's a tough one. It really makes you examine your own values, doesn't it? Would you be willing to sacrifice your integrity for a greater purpose? Or is staying true to yourself, even in the face of overwhelming odds, the most important thing?
And that's the crux of it, right? It forces you to define what really matters to you. So what does Supreme Overlord choose? Power or integrity? The easy path or the one less traveled?
In a moment of clarity, he makes his choice. Supreme Overlord rejects the pact. He refuses to build the Siege Cat's legacy on the backs of his fans, even if it means facing a tougher climb to the top.
Wow, what a powerful statement. He's basically saying we'll earn our success on our own terms, even if it takes longer and requires more struggle. It's like a giant middle finger to the idea of selling out for fame. It's about staying true to your art, your values, and your fans.
It's a testament to his character and a powerful message for all of us. It reminds us that there are no shortcuts to true success. Real achievement comes from hard work, dedication, and staying true to your principles. And sometimes saying no is the bravest thing you can do.
Exactly. So how does Max react to this rejection?
Well, Max, being the embodiment of temptation, isn't exactly thrilled. He vanishes with a sigh, but not before issuing a chilling warning. He tells Supreme Overlords that their paths will cross again someday, and that this choice may come back to haunt him. It's like a classic devil's bargain element. The idea that there are always consequences, even if they're not immediately apparent.
Ooh, that's intense. It leaves you wondering, what does that warning mean? Will Max try to tempt him again? Or will the consequences manifest in some other unexpected way? It definitely adds a whole new layer of complexity to the Siege Cat's story.
And it sets up a fascinating tension for their future. Even though he rejected the deal, this encounter at the crossroads has a lasting impact on Supreme Overlords. It said that his voice took on a new edge, an otherworldly quality that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard him sing. Imagine hearing Supreme Overlords sing after this encounter. You probably feel that otherworldly quality too, right?
Totally. It's like a touch of that darkness clung to him even though he resisted the full deal. And it's rumored that he was haunted by whispers and visions of what might have been. Those glimpses of unimaginable power and fame that Max showed him. It makes you wonder, did rejecting the deal actually make his burden heavier? Is he constantly wrestling with those what-ifs?
It's a compelling question. Did choosing integrity over power bring him inner peace or a constant struggle against temptation? The source material doesn't give us all the answers, which is part of what makes this story so intriguing.
Of course. It's like the perfect rock and roll legend. A brush with the supernatural, a choice between power and integrity, and a lingering sense of mystery. This encounter becomes a legend whispered among the Siege Cat's fan base, adding to their mystique.
Some fans say it's just a tall tale, a way to make the band even more interesting. But others believe there's truth to it, and Supreme Overlord himself never confirms or denies the story, which of course only adds to the mystery.
Yeah, that's the best kind of story, right? The one that leaves you wondering, could this actually be true? It allows fans to interpret it in their own way, to connect with the band on a deeper level.
And ultimately, this encounter, real or legend, becomes a defining moment for the Siege Cats. Having faced the ultimate temptation and chosen the harder path, their music takes on a new depth, a sense of authenticity that resonates with their fans even more.
Because their fans know that they're not just listening to some manufactured image. They're experiencing the struggles, the triumphs, and the choices that have shaped the band's journey. It's a reminder that the most meaningful art often comes from overcoming adversity and staying true to yourself.
And that's a message that resonates with people from all walks of life. Regardless of whether they're into rock music or not, it's a universal truth that we all face challenges. We all have to make difficult choices. And the way we navigate those crossroads defines who we are.
So what happened next for the Siege Cats after that fateful encounter at the crossroads? Did Max's shadow ever resurface? Stick with us as we finish up this deep dive into their story. We're back, and man, this story, it just keeps getting more intriguing. The Siege Cats facing down a literal devil at a crossroads. Choosing integrity over unimaginable power. It's the stuff of legends.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What would you do in that situation? It's like a giant cosmic morality play, but set to a killer rock soundtrack.
Right, and what's so cool is that even though they rejected the deal, the encounter had a lasting impact on them. We talked about Supreme Overlord's voice taking on this otherworldly edge. But it goes beyond that. Their music, their whole vibe. It's like they were touched by something ancient and powerful, even if they didn't fully embrace it.
It's as if they absorbed some of that raw energy, that essence of darkness, just by being in Max's presence. And it infused their music with a new depth, a sense of urgency that resonates with their fans on a whole new level.
Totally. It's like, when you hear a band and you can just tell they've been through some stuff, that their music is born from real experience. That's what the Siege Cats started to embody after that Crossroads encounter.
Absolutely. And that authenticity, that rawness, it draws people in. It's like a beacon for those who are also searching for something real, something that speaks to their own struggles and triumphs.
So they continue their journey, touring the multiverse, fighting the good fight against the W. But with this added layer of depth and mystery, their music becomes a testament to their resilience, their integrity, and their unwavering commitment to their own path.
And their story becomes a source of inspiration, wouldn't you say? It shows that even when faced with incredible temptation, even when the easy path seems so alluring, it's possible to stay true to yourself, to choose the harder path and still achieve greatness.
It's like maybe true greatness isn't about reaching some ultimate goal, but about the journey itself, about the choices we make along the way, and the impact we have on the world around us.
It makes you wonder what's more powerful in the long run. A meteoric rise to fame fueled by a dark bargain, or a slow burn built on authenticity and integrity.
Right, because let's be real, the Siege Cats could have taken that shortcut to the top, become the biggest band in the multiverse overnight.
Yeah.
But they chose to earn it, to build their legacy one song, one show, one fan at a time.
And that's a powerful message, especially in a world that often glorifies quick wins and overnight success. It's a reminder that real lasting impact comes from staying true to your vision, from working hard, and from connecting with people on a genuine level.
So to circle back to that lingering question, does Max's shadow ever resurface? Does he try to tempt Supreme Overlords again? Well, the source material leaves that open to interpretation. It's like the story isn't over yet. There's still a sense of anticipation, a possibility that their paths might cross again.
And I think that's part of what makes the story so compelling. It leaves us with that feeling of what if? What if Max returns, offering a new deal, a new temptation? How will the Siege Cats respond? Will their past choices give them the strength to resist?
It's like the Crossroads isn't just a one-time event. It's a metaphor for the choices we face throughout our lives. There will always be temptations, shortcuts, easy paths that promise quick rewards. But the Siege Cat story reminds us that staying true to ourselves, to our values, might ultimately be the most rewarding path of all.
Exactly. And maybe that's the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive. Life is full of crossroads, and we all have the power to choose our own path. We can chase the easy wins, or we can embrace the struggle knowing that the journey itself is what shapes us, what defines us, and what ultimately leads to true fulfillment.
So the next time you find yourself at a crossroads, remember the Siege Cats. Remember Supreme Overlord's choice. Ask yourself, what will your path be? And hey, maybe crank up some Siege Cats music while you're at it. It might just give you the courage to keep rocking your own way, one bold choice at a time. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep